Ofcom will not investigate after Yvette Cooper's interview by her husband Ed Balls on ITV's Good Morning Britain. We're going to talk about this more from Sky News, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an article from Sky News with the headline that Ofcom will not investigate after Yvette Cooper's interview by her husband Ed Balls on ITV's Good Morning Britain. Ofcom received an upwards of 8,000 complaints in August after Mr. Balls, a former Labour cabinet minister and regular presenter on Good Morning Britain, questioned his wife, the current Home Secretary, about the riots gripping the UK. Guys, while you're here, make sure you hit the like button and share this across social media so others are notified of this video. What is the point of Ofcom? What is the point of it if it is not going to do its freaking job? Like, what is the point? It's just so infuriating. Ofcom have had so many complaints about so many things, and they just don't deal with them. They just don't. And I seriously wonder if there was any pressure applied by the Labour government to not take this further as well. I'm going to throw that out there. I'm going to throw that speculation out there, guys, because if you want to call me centre left or lefty or whatever, I don't care what position you want to put me on. But the amount of misinformation and misleading that you get out of the likes of GB News, Talk TV, Talk Radio, some of these right-wing, and I am going to call them right-wing news outlets that paint a very misleading picture to the public about things that are happening in the UK that are not happening as well. They do give truth, but they also give a lot of lies, and they miscontail it in such a way that it's not right. Especially when you have a news organisation like GB News that's had conservative MPs literally talking to each other on politics channels. And I've talked about this in previous videos before about how there's been conflicts of interest on GB News. And this is no different. Just because it's Labour does not mean it should be treated any differently. I was angry that nothing was done about GB News when they were doing conflicts of interest, and they were having shoveling out lots and lots of money to have conservative MPs on their programme, giving them lots and lots of media platform and everything, and giving them nice comfy questions so they didn't have to ask any tough difficult questions. But here you have literally the same thing. And you know what, for those people who stand by this position about Labour are the same as the Tories, plays more into that hand, makes it more impact. Some people don't like that Labour are being branched the same as the Conservatives or vice versa. But when I see a story like this, and there's not even going to be an investigation into it, what's Ofcom's reason? Oh, there's nothing here. Oh no, there's nothing wrong with a Labour minister being interviewed by their husband, who also was a former Labour cabinet minister as well. Nothing wrong with that at all. No, nothing wrong with that at all. It's like Jacob Rees-Mogg and Lee Anderson, one former Conservative MP and another cabinet minister or deputy chairman having a conversation on GB News. Definitely nothing conflict of interest there. Definitely nothing wrong there. There's nothing wrong with that at all. No. Am I the only one who's not seen a picture here? Something should have been done. And it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And you'd like to think that perhaps, they have said they're going to give Ofcom more powers. But does that mean that that the powers that they give Ofcom, does it mean it's going to be more scrutiny on Labour too when they break their rules? Or are they just saying that to make it sound tough? Because that's the kind of part of me that's feeling right now. I feel like it's just rhetoric as opposed to they're actually going to give Ofcom more powers. I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to think I'm wrong. Hopefully within a year's time, maybe or two, Ofcom will have more powers, and maybe we'll see a crackdown on some media outlets and whatnot that are not giving proper and decent, accurate information to the British public. Maybe, but as of right now, I'm struggling to buy it, and it's infuriating. And this is wrong. This should have been investigated. So the media regulator Ofcom has confirmed it will not launch an investigation after the Home Secretary Yvette Cooper was interviewed by her husband Ed Balls live on TV. Mr. Balls, a former Labour cabinet minister and regular presenter on ITV's Good Morning Britain, had questioned Ms. Cooper about the riots gripping the UK on the programme in August. At the time, Ofcom said there were 8,201 complaints relating to the segment. Some were about Ms. Ball's interview with Ms. Cooper, and others were about an exchange with MP Zarah Sultana. I'm not interested in the exchange with Zarah Sultana. I'm interested in the fact that he had an interview with his wife. That's a conflict of interest. That's not a fair and balanced interview. I'm sorry, you cannot have your husband talking to your wife and expect it to be, perfectly reasonable, fair questions are going to come. Like, no, it's just not. After reviewing the complaints, the media regulator has now decided not to investigate further. ITV has, however, been issued guidance urging particular care to be taken over future such interviews to ensure due impartiality is preserved. So they basically said to ITV, yeah, don't do it again, basically. They've given ITV a slap on the wrist here. An Ofcom spokesperson told Sky News, taking into account that their relationship was made clear twice, that a range of views about Labour's handling of the riots were included in the programme as a whole, and given the vast majority of the interviews was conducted by co-presenter Kate Garraway, we will not be pursuing further. We have, however, issued guidance warning ITV to take particular care over the compliance of such interviews in future to ensure due impartiality and preserve given the clear potential issues that could arise from such an editorial decision. Standard stuff from Ofcom. The issue of politicians interviewing other politicians has been controversial in recent years after GB News allowed a number of Conservative MPs to presenters to interview their colleagues. Yeah, this is also the thing that I was saying at the start. Mr. Balls is no longer a politician, having pursued a media career and appearing on Strictly Come Dancing since losing his seat in 2015. Yes, he is no longer a politician. Yes, that is true. No, I'm not dismissing that he's no longer a politician. What my gripe is that if it was a different Labour MP, I would not have an issue with it because he's no longer a politician. He's no longer a politician, so he can still ask those questions. If he was still a Labour MP or a Labour member, maybe I might feel a bit... If he was a Labour MP, I'd have questions, obviously. But he's not. Even if he was a Labour member, maybe I have some questions about it. Maybe some of you guys will say differently in the comments, because I generally want your feedback on this one. But... husband, wife, hello, like, it's not rocket science. And here's the thing, like, here's the thing. Yes... I get what Ofcom are saying here about that they made it clear that they are married and whatnot. They still should not have allowed it. The point is, it should not have allowed it in the first place. Okay, they just shouldn't. That's just the general skip of it. Here. The broadcaster and Miss Cooper have been married for more than 25 years and have 3 children together. Before the interview in August, the former Shadow Chancellor said he had a genuine question for his other half and said he's rarely seen her at all in the last week because of the disorder on the streets. It doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I don't give 2 hoots. You're in a relationship with her. You're going to see her at some point. While questioning was most led by GBM host Kate Garraway, Mr. Balls had grilled his wife on accusations of two-tier policing, a phrase used to describe the impression that some protests and demonstrators are dealt with more harshly than others. Look, I don't care whether he was harsh or fair on his wife at all. I really don't care, guys. That's not the point of my gripe. My point is that he should not have had the opportunity to do it. I don't care. They're in a relationship. It doesn't. It does. They're in a relationship. It's not. It's not something that if they want to have conversations, they can have conversations off TV, off prime time television. You know, it's not. They can talk to each other whenever they want. We don't want that. You know, you want a presenter, regardless of their political differences, to be giving the tough and difficult questions to politicians, and you don't want them to have any. Ideally, you don't want that presenter to have any affiliation with the politician. But unfortunately, we know that it's kind of blended in. But for me, it's just over the line. Just like a lot of things that GB News have gone over the line. But this is another example of Ofcom's failure. Another example of it. And we're not just myself, but other political commentators, YouTubers as well, have stated how weak Ofcom have been under the Conservatives. And they've just not been strong enough. Not been good enough at their job. And the same is here. Like I said, I hope that Labour does give them more powers in the future. But I'm not going to hold my breath on that. But what do you guys honestly think? Do you think they should have investigated? Do you think maybe I'm being a tad bit harsh? Do you think that I have some valid points? Maybe you guys have some better points to add? Or do you think it's not right to make the same comparisons as in on GB News when Conservative MPs are talking to each other on there that have been in the past? Let me know your thoughts and more down in the comment section below. If you found this video interesting, please hit the like button. We greatly appreciate it. Share it across social media so others are notified of this video. And subscribe if you haven't, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and support me and the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content on those platforms. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.